So this video here will show you a quick difference between the GDP, the gross domestic product of a country, and the GNP, which is the gross national product of a country. And there's a very slight difference between what you'll experience here. So the gross domestic product of the country is anything that is earned within an individual country. So if we take my really crude drawing here of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and a continent here that's got France on it. The gross domestic product of the United Kingdom would be anything that is made within the borders of the country of the United Kingdom. So anything that is produced on this landmass here would count towards GDP. So if you had an English bank that was operating in London, that would count towards the GDP of the UK. If you had a Scottish oil firm who were taking oil out of the North Sea, that would count towards the GDP of the UK. If you had a French multinational who were working in, let's say, Cardiff, so here's my French flag down here, but a French firm operating in Cardiff, that is also money that is earned within the boundaries of this country, and that also would count towards the gross domestic product. Now, for gross national product, let me just design my same scenario here of poorly drawn countries and constituent parts of the United Kingdom. And in this case, gross national product is the figure of what value the citizens of a particular country contribute. So the bank that was a British bank that's operating in London, yes, they would still be included. The Scottish oil refinery, yes, they would still be included. But the French company now working in Cardiff, because that money is a French company and the money will go back to French shareholders, then they would be excluded from the GNP of the United Kingdom. Conversely, if there was a Welsh company who were operating over in France, and let's say for the purposes of this, we've got another bank, a Welsh organisation, tertiary service that's working in France. If they're a British firm, they would be included in the UK's GNP. So this time, we're not looking at the area, but we are looking at who is producing them. So in this case, we're just looking for all the products that are created by British, in this case, people. Now, you may think for the UK, these numbers would be relatively similar because we have quite a lot of multinationals from other nation states that operate within the UK, and equally we have lots of UK multinationals who work around the world. That isn't always the case though. So imagine for a second if I took, in the second example, a small island nation state. And let's imagine that small island nation state was at a low level of development, heavily dependent on tourism. So, for example, on their islands, they had lots of hotels, for example, that were in here, big multinational chains like Hilton that were setting up huge luxury resorts on the island. They had to have a foreign bank that was on the island because their financial systems weren't strong enough. You can instantly see here now how the GDP of this small island might actually be quite strong per capita. Lots of things are being produced and consumed on the island. However, when we think about the gross national product of the island, we can see very quickly that the economic leakages from those multinationals would mean that all that money is disappearing. And as this is only a small island with perhaps maybe 10,000 people on it, it's unlikely to have any multinationals abroad. So it's not going to add any money in from abroad. So actually the gross national product of this small island is actually going to be very small compared to its GDP. So that's where we may see much larger changes in what's going on.